It's fascinating to consider how language can shape our experiences. It's not just about words or phrases. It's about what those words mean, what they evoke, what they trigger in the mind. Think about it for a moment. When you're deeply engaged in conversation, it's like you're not just hearing words, you're receiving patterns that paint a picture in your mind, creating emotions, images, and even new possibilities. What if I told you the patterns you use, whether you realize it or not, they can guide those around you into new ways of thinking, feeling and acting? So imagine being able to connect with someone, not by speaking plainly, but by weaving a tapestry of suggestion, curiosity and intrigue that they almost can't help but follow. Have you ever noticed how sometimes, without even realizing it, you're drawn to certain conversations or certain kinds of stories? There's something compelling about the way some people speak, isn't there? You can't quite put your finger on it, but the way that they talk seems to pull you in, like you're on the edge of something deeper. Now what if I told you you can do the same? That with simple tools, patterns, questions, phrasing, you can capture the imagination and open up a world of possibilities for yourself and others. You see, language is a key. Not just any key, but one that can unlock the potential in yourself and those around you. But let's pause for a moment. What do you think happens when you use the patterns? Not just to communicate, but to connect, to guide, to transform a conversation into something more than just words. When you're present with someone, when you ask the right questions, it can feel like opening a door to a different perspective, a different way of understanding. When you ask questions like, have you ever wondered why you think that? Or what would happen if? You're not just gathering information, you're creating a space where curiosity can take root and grow. Notice the questions themselves. They don't demand an answer right away. They simply invite someone to explore. It's like planting a seed in their mind. What will happen next is not something you can predict, but it's something you can guide gently. It's about allowing curiosity to blossom, without the need for immediate resolution. Have you ever thought about how much we crave curiosity, how it pulls us forward beyond what we know? And then there are those moments when you really want to challenge someone. It's like the moment when someone says, I bet you can't do it. And even though you might not have thought that you were interested, a spark ignites inside you, a little challenge, a little excitement. You know the feeling, right? It's a playful push, something that invites you to see yourself in a new way. And in that moment, you might just surprise yourself. So imagine having the ability to bring out that spark in someone at just the right moment. It's not about overwhelming them with information or pushing them too hard. It's about knowing when to offer a challenge, or how to make it just intriguing enough to spark curiosity. Sometimes it's not the words themselves that matter, it's the way you frame them. Have you ever heard someone say, I noticed something about that most people don't see? Just those few words, don't they make you curious? They don't promise anything, they just open a door to possibility. And in that moment, you want to know what's behind that door, don't you? You see, it's all about building a bridge that leads from where someone is now to where they could be, or even further. And that bridge is made of words, of patterns, of small suggestions and insights that nudge someone just enough to take a step forward. What's most interesting is how you can step into those moments when you're not sure of the outcome, but you trust in the process. Because you're not trying to control or predict what happens next. You're simply guiding. Because you see, the more you let go of needing an outcome, the more you can really experience what's happening in the moment. And then at some point, it becomes less about the techniques and more about the connection. It's like a dance, a fluid exchange, where the steps may be planned, but they flow with the rhythm of conversation. Each person both guiding and being guided. Now imagine yourself using this ability, not just as a tool, but as a way of moving through life. Every conversation, every interaction, an opportunity to explore and create something new. And when you notice the way the words can shape the world, you start to see the world itself differently. You begin to see possibilities where others see limitations. You begin to hear patterns where no one else notices. And with that awareness, you create a ripple of change that not only touches your life, but the lives of those around you. And it's curious, isn't it? How something as simple as words, they can shape the world around us. And even more interesting is how these words can create entire realities inside the mind. You see, there are moments, tiny moments, when a word, a phrase, or even a slight change in how something is said, it opens the door to an entirely new way of thinking, a new way of being. And when you start to pay attention to those moments, something incredible happens. You begin to notice everything is a pattern, a thread woven into the fabric of our thoughts. In fact, every word we use, it's not just a sound, but a pointer, guiding attention in a specific way. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the way you think about something can suddenly shift, just by a single word? Like when someone asks, what would it feel like if you could? And suddenly you feel your mind open to something you hadn't even considered before. It's as if you crossed a threshold into an entirely new possibility, just by being invited to look at it in a different direction. And without even realizing it, that question starts to change things. It doesn't force, it doesn't demand, it just invites. It pulls you in, softly, gently, until the door is open wide, and suddenly you see the world in a way you hadn't imagined before. Isn't it amazing how something as simple as a question, a small shift, can be so powerful? You've probably also noticed how some people seem to naturally understand the art of conversation. They seem to effortlessly guide the flow, make you feel curious, interested, even captivated. All with just a few words. Now imagine that feeling. Imagine having the ability not just to influence how others feel, but to shape the very experience that they're having. Imagine being able to ask the questions that guide them down a path of new discoveries, all while they think they're simply engaging in a regular conversation. And it doesn't have to be hard. In fact, the best part is, it's easier than you might think. Because all you need is an understanding that language is more than just words. It's a tool, a bridge between ideas, a pathway into someone's mind. Each word, it can serve as a signal, each phrase a subtle direction, guiding them gently, without them even realizing it. What would happen if you could master that? If you could use language in such a way that it becomes an invitation to explore, to feel, to change? Think about this for a moment. What happens when you don't tell someone exactly what to do, but instead offer a suggestion that plants a seed into their mind? Imagine how powerful it is. It's like telling a story where you don't know the ending, but you feel yourself getting closer to something bigger, something deeper. What would it feel like to be that guide, to be the one who helps someone to step into the unknown with confidence and curiosity? Now consider how often we get caught up in the idea of needing certainty, the idea of needing to know exactly how things will unfold. But what if you didn't need to know? What if instead of forcing an outcome, you could simply trust the process, knowing every moment brings with it a new opportunity for discovery? How would that change the way you approach conversations, the way you interact, the way you live? And sometimes it's not about pushing or striving, it's about creating space. What would happen if you gave others the space to explore their own thoughts, their own feelings, without judgment? What would it feel like to give someone permission to be uncertain, to not have all the answers, and yet still feel empowered by that uncertainty? It's like giving them the freedom to explore without the pressure of needing to find the right answer. There's something incredibly powerful about creating that space, where both you and the person you're talking to can simply be. And in that space, something magical begins to happen. It's almost as if the very act of inviting someone to think, to feel, to explore, it allows them to tap into parts of themselves they may not have been aware of before. Isn't that fascinating? It's almost like unlocking a hidden door without even needing a key. So imagine for a moment the freedom that comes with letting go of control, of releasing the need to predict, to manage the outcome. Instead, you become like a guide, someone who walks alongside others as they step into new experiences. And the beauty is, you don't need to push them anywhere. You simply need them to be there, inviting them to see things from a new perspective. And here's the interesting part. Sometimes, when you ask a question, when you offer a suggestion, you're not asking for an immediate response. No, you're inviting something deeper to emerge. Something that may not even be fully conscious yet. It's like planting a seed. Small, simple, almost unnoticed at first. But over time, that seed, it takes root and it grows in ways that are truly remarkable. So imagine, just for a moment, being the kind of person who can speak with such subtlety, such grace, that your words, they don't just land, they take root. Imagine how it feels to know that you have the ability to plant these seeds and watch them grow day by day, as they shape not just your conversations, but entire experiences. And it's not about controlling someone's thoughts. It's not about forcing them to think in a certain way. No, it's much more elegant than that. It's about creating the conditions in which they can see something new, in which they can come to their own understanding. It's about asking questions that open up new realms of possibility. And as you start to see this, something shifts. You begin to realize you can choose your words with such intention, such care, that each phrase becomes an invitation to explore, to feel, to grow. And in that, you begin to see every conversation. It's not just a series of exchanges, but an opportunity to create something new, to connect, to open up, new pathways that lead to transformation. Now, as you think about these words, let them settle in. Feel how the ideas start to emerge, how the concepts begin to interlace and to weave themselves into a larger pattern. See, it's all here already. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to strive for a particular result. All you need to do is trust the process and allow things to unfold naturally in their own time. The moment you let go of needing to control it, you allow yourself to become a true guide, a creator of experiences, simply by being present, by speaking the right words at just the right time. Isn't it fascinating how this works? The more you relax into it, the more powerful and natural it becomes. And as you do, you find your ability to influence, to connect, to inspire becomes effortless. The real secret, it isn't in trying harder, it's in trusting the flow, allowing the magic to happen all around you.